Well, it turns out that the girlfriend of the player is sitting outside in the car.
Wow.
So back in the day, I had when I told a story about how I used to, one of my first accounts was Maple Leaf Gardens,
yes,
and parking right outside and just walking in. And one day I parked outside and looked across the street. And
Harold Ballard's parking lot was just the side of the street in front of
and across the street there was a restaurant that went bankrupt, and they were releasing it. So I looked at it, and we talked about this before. So I decided, having some experience when I was younger, owning a bar, building a bar, and I said, okay, that would be a great location for a bar right across from Maple Leaf Gardens. So we built this bar called Gardoonies. Some of you may remember it. But anyway, we have this bar, and I'm hanging out there a little bit while I'm running Frameworth, and then I've got the bar going. And one day I'm there for lunch, and in walks, and I'm not going to mention names, a hockey player and his buddy.
Okay.
So we sit down, and we have a few beers, pops. And
you know what? Just because our guests call them pops doesn't mean you have to call them pops.
I've always called them pops.
You have never called them pops. I call you pops, but you don't call your drinks pops. You say, I have some drinks or I have some beers. Okay. But listen, if you want to be cool all of a sudden, I get it.
You can call me out on that. So we all sit down together, or I start have a few drinks with them, and then I have to kind of get onto some other things at the bar, and but I keep the drinks coming. So they're having a few, and then it gets after the lunch hour, because we used to have a lot of players drop in there after practice, the Leafs in particular, or the opposing team. And so they sit there and they keep drinking. Well, the place empties out except for these two really good-looking women. Okay.
What time is this? Why are they there?
That's about 2:30.
What bar is this? These bars don't exist anymore.
Yeah. So now the players are looking at the girls are looking at the guys, and the girls come over, and they know who the players are, or the player and his buddy. And so the player that I knew had a girlfriend at the time, and the other guy had a girlfriend. And so, but these two girls were pretty good looking. So they sat there and talked for a while. And then the player in question kept looking at his phone, and he was getting calls from his girlfriend, but he wasn't picking up because he's talking to this other girl. And then his girlfriend figured out that he might be at the bar.
Right.
So he called the bartender, the bar phone, and the bartender picked up and said, is my boyfriend there? And the bartender, oh yeah, he's sitting over in the corner. Yeah, who's he with? Well, he's with his buddy, and she didn't say anything. She's smart enough not to say anything else.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was the end of the conversation. Now it's around 4:00, and these guys leave with the girls, and they get into the Jeep, and they drive down to where one of the guys was staying, underground garage, and one's in the front with the girl, and the other's in the back with the girl, and then they're necking with the girl. Well, it turns out that the girlfriend of the player is sitting outside in the car.
Wow.
She figured it out. She came down.
Wow.
She said, and she drives down to the underground lot behind them and catches them in the car together.
No.
I mean, it was we can laugh about it now, but obviously, at the time it was just horrendous.
I mean, in every situation,
I don't think he was allowed back in the bar ever again.
That's fair. Now, how did you become aware of this happening?
He told me the story. Okay,
there you go.
Because I said, how'd you make out with those two girls? He said,
I did make out with them.
Didn't quite come to fruition because, anyways, long story short, they stayed together for a while after that, so I don't know. It wasn't that. So maybe she caught him before anything serious happened.
Sure. And just kind of would have assumed the best. Now, thank you so much for watching this clip of the Sign Off, a Frameworth podcast. Just a reminder that we have full episodes of the Sign Off available wherever you get your podcasts, on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. Make sure to like and subscribe on whichever platform you use. You can find us on Twitter at Frameworth Sport or on Instagram at Frameworth Sports. And hey, if you're not sick of me yet, you can find me on Twitter at at Retrograde Mikey. Finally, feel free to send us emails with your questions you want us to answer on the show, and we may feature you live. You can do that by sending your emails to signoffpod@frameworth.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you with a new episode every single Thursday.